My name is Rick, and I've been a member of Recovering Love Church for a number of years. And today I'm here with Pastor Mimi Goodwin, pastor of Recovering Love Church. Pastor Mimi, what are some of the experiences that prepare you for taking on this church?
Thank you. I am grateful to be here and be joining into this incredible community. For me, my professional work within churches has always been strengthened by my own recovery. For I believe sometimes we talk about Jesus Christ being a healer, but sometimes we kind of forget to bring that in to worship and other times that we gather. So my seminary experience, I graduated from Wesley Theological Seminary with a Master's of Divinity, and one of the honors was the Community Award. And building community has always been important to me. When I grew up in one of the families that was a little bit broken, shall we say, and I was always out and about in the community. So that survival tactic really has become a principle for me in life. And I began recovery in November 1981. So I bring both a professional experience within churches, within recovery programs, within schools, and all that professional work is strengthened by my own recovery.
Thank you. What are some of the things that you like to do in your free time?
One of my great joys is being a quilter and a fabric artist, so I am enjoying that. And I learned to sew when I was a little girl. Part of what I love about Minnesota is how easy it is to get out of the cities and enjoy the beauty of creation. I also am someone who loves live music and theater.
I love a lot of those things too. What makes you excited about Recovering Love Church?
I find it exciting that we can come into this church, and the title, Recovering Love Church, is such a phrase about that's what recovery is. To be recovering love, to recovering that ability to walk around with a place of love. So right from the get-go, the first time I heard the title of this church, I was intrigued. And when I first met with the leadership team, it was clear that it was a community of prayer, which is one of the great strengths that I've seen throughout my interactions in this community. It also is a community where we can bring our whole being, and we can be following Jesus Christ and continuing to bring the principles and the practices of 12-step programs and what people have learned in treatment programs, and we can weave those together to have collectively and individually a recovery that is rooted in such strong, strong roots.
What have you seen that really excites you?
It's exciting to me to watch people visiting with each other and encouraging each other. And I love worshiping within this community. There's a real spark of the Spirit that feels present. And the music team has been great fun to meet and begin to learn the variety of musical gifts and styles that people bring.
I know you've talked a lot about dinner church and really seem to enjoy that.
So dinner church is it's the second Saturday of the month, and every worship is on Saturday night at 5:30. When this church was founded, the decision was very intentional. For people recovering from addiction and the people that love the people struggling with addiction, Saturday night can be a tough time. So worship is intentionally on Saturday night, so people have a place to go where they know they're going to find sobriety and community and tools and tips for how to stay rooted in recovery, and plus have some fun. So on the second Saturday of the month is called Dinner Church. And so we gather and have a meal, and then there's a program that is wide open with a variety of different, sometimes it's pure entertainment, sometimes it might have a little more purpose and meaning about recovery, sometimes it's about creating art together, and a person shares their recovery story, and then we pray together, and there's also some music. So it's more of a fun time, and my understanding that I'm coming to know it is the largest gathering and community that this church has.
Yeah.
So it's a real heartbeat of planting all sorts of seeds so people can land in recovery.
What would you say to someone who's considering coming to Recovering Love Church?
I would first, before I would say anything, I would listen to their story and begin to know who they are. And at this particular moment in time, what they're looking for. And oftentimes the conversations that I'm having is people want a place where they can strengthen their recovery, a place when they can be following Jesus and be in recovery. And the principles of the 12 steps separate out religion in 12 steps for absolutely essential reasons, but it can get a little confusing. It's like, oh, it's the part of me that's a 12-stepper, the part of me that's a Christian. Oh, here at Recovering Love, I can just land. And then I encourage people to know that there are people here you can call. There are people here that will stand with you when things are rough. There are people that are going to celebrate all those joys that we get to begin to experience more and more in recovery. So it's a great place to meet other people, to experience and build community, and to be all that you are.
Great. Would you be willing to share a significant spiritual experience that you've had?
Oh, this question, there's so many spiritual experiences. I think I'll share a couple. So the first is a story about, I've come a long way. So the first time I heard the Serenity Prayer, I really liked it, except for the first word, except for the word God. Because when I entered recovery, I didn't believe in God. If there had been a God, my life wouldn't be a mess, as if, it was God's fault that I was an alcoholic and addict. And so I actually had one of those little cards, and I took a thumbtack, and I put it over the word God. So that's where I began.
Yeah.
And so over time, it became really clear that there was a higher power, there was a God, and for me, it includes following Jesus, to name this higher power. And it's not some mysterious force that's going to grant us this sense of serenity. So that's where I began in recovery and really struggled around having any sense of belief. And so that's one spiritual story. One of the things that I've already experienced here within Recovering Love Church that has been so true in my own recovery, when I was working in the recovery treatment field, and now within church, is literally watching the spark of life and the spark of spirit return to people's eyes. That is one of the most spiritual moments, and also an incredible gift and a responsibility to be tending to creating places where that can happen. And I'm curious, do you want to share a story too about your sense of spirituality in your recovery?
So I struggled for, let's say, 20 or 30 years with who my higher power was, if there was a higher power. And that my higher power didn't actually come to me until I was in this room in a meditation meeting. And somehow that meditating made it possible for my higher power, for me to believe in a higher power, have faith in a higher power, realize that something greater than myself was at work here. And it really allowed my spirituality to blossom from that point. And so I have really warm feelings from this specific room we're sitting in.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time to sit down and share your thoughts about the church and what you're seeing, and introduce yourself to us. And on behalf of all of the other members, thank you. We very much appreciate you and your stewardship and the time that you've taken here.
And thank you. And to the people watching this on our website, I look forward to you gathering some experience, strength, and hope, and some sense of community, connecting with us online and in person. May God's peace be with you.